Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Beatin' the Bookie show. We're coming off a phenomenal week of golf over at the Cognizant Classic. BTB had a great week. 2 picks I gave out last week on the show, winners. Hard to beat that. We got a good week of golf coming up. Arnold Palmer Invitational this week, signature event, PGA Tour signature event. These are the big dogs. Finally back to a big field and one that's star-studded. So, you ready to dive in?
Yeah, I mean, started the field. I wouldn't say big because we only have 72 golfers here, as it's a signature event. But this will kind of be the first big test of the PGA season. This is a premier tournament. It has been for a long time, and I think it'll probably be the first true scoring test of the season. Usually it's the Honda or the Cognizant is usually a tough scoring course. At Trump International and PGA International in Palm Beach, but last week it played very easy. I mean, very easy. We saw obviously Jake Knapp shoot that 59 opening round, had a chance for 58. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into one of the tougher tournaments of the season. The API at Bay Hill, it can play tough. At times it can play very tough, especially if it's windy. You get a lot of that Central Florida swirling wind around those lakes and stuff, and
Which we're going to get a lot of this week, especially tomorrow.
Allegedly. This is what we heard every week. I feel like this is what we hear. It's going to be a tough. The wind's going to pick up. Like last week when Thursday and Friday were easy scoring, they're like, you know what, the wind's going to pick up on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm living down here, like I don't feel any wind, right? And they're like, no, it's going to be brutal winds on Sunday, 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour. Like, I hate to break it to people, but 15-mile-per-hour wind to these PGA players is nothing, right? It's absolutely nothing. It makes no. If you have start winds 25, 30 miles an hour, sure. 15, 20, just forget about it, right? They're so used to playing in that. So we saw a scoring fest last week, and we head on to Bay Hill this week. 72 golfers in the field. No Jordan Spieth, no Ricky Fowler, as they did not receive sponsors exemptions this week for some reason. We're pretty correct, pretty spot on about Jordan Spieth last week.
Yeah, man, you were.
We saw him really put together 4 solid rounds. If he didn't have a one-hole stretch on Friday where he triple bogeyed 17, we could have been looking at him competing for the winner at the end. But a pretty solid tournament for Jordan. He's definitely getting his mojo back after his surgery, playing a lot better than he was prior to the surgery. So looking forward to that. And we head into this week. Will Scottie Scheffler get his first win of the season? If there's a place where he's going to get it, it's going to be here. Scottie's won 2 out of the last 3 tournaments here. He won in 22, got 4th in 23, and he won it again last year. So Scottie loves this course, and he has not won, this year. So I love Scottie this week. He hasn't won, this season. So, he's really itching to get back in that winner's circle. So,
well, he had the start of the season kind of get, off to a slow start with the wine glass cut. And that was crazy. But he hadn't had a win yet this season. And he's sitting at plus 300 on DraftKings right now for this week. What are your thoughts on that spot?
Well, I actually got him I see him plus 350 at BetOnline. So you really want to shop around for that because, you can get, Scottie at, plus 350. But look, a lot of people don't like taking a plus 350, right, pre-tournament. So the best thing you can do is, usually it's a low score that wins here. Like if you look at the past winning scores, right, we do have Scottie last year at 15 under, but Kurt Kitayama 9 under, Scottie in 2022 5 under, right? Bryson 11 under, Tyrrell Hatton the year before that 4 under. So we've seen some, not too low of scores win here.
And personally, if this is something that interests you or not, I know I've seen you throw this out in some of the cards for the tournaments, but the winning score is set at 13 under for this tournament. So if that is something that interests you.
Yeah, that all comes down to, look, I always think every tournament is going to go under the score, right? Because the technology these guys play with these days, the clubs are so much better than they used to be. These guys are stronger. They're hitting the ball farther than golfers have ever done. So I always
hit a drive the green last year. I think it's like number 13 or whatever at Bay Hill.
401 yards.
Crazy.
And we've seen Bryson drive over the water, obviously, and probably the most famous shot ever at this, this tournament. So yeah, I mean, definitely, this is a course that's definitely gettable. They will talk about the wind, but ultimately, I don't really think that's going to mean much, right? 15, 20 mile per hour winds. I don't even really worry about that, to be honest. So if you want to bet Scottie Scheffler to win it, I say, wait till the tournament starts, right? You can usually pick Scottie up at a better number live than you can, pre-tournament. If you want to bet Scottie Scheffler, take him to be the first round leader, because you can pick that up at significantly higher odds. I mean, you can take Scottie Scheffler first round leader at plus 1,200 at DraftKings. So, usually when Scottie wins tournaments, he comes out hot. So I'll probably play Scottie plus 1,200 for a unit to be the first round leader. Just because at plus 1,200, you're also on a smaller field, 72 golfers. So, I like Scottie in that spot. If I'm going to bet him to win it, I'm going to bet first round leaders. So definitely plus 1,200. But Scottie has dominated this tournament. And like I said, he has not won this year. So, he's itching to get back, right? We've seen him 9th place at Pebble Beach, 25th at the Waste Management, 3rd place at the Genesis, right? He has not put together that victory. And I guess you could say for Scottie Scheffler, he's on a drought right now. And this is the perfect place for him to end that drought, a place where he's won 2 out of the last 3 years. So I ultimately think Scottie does take it down.
Love it. Love it. Another guy that's had some pretty good success here, Rory. He's got 8 finishes of 13th or better in 10 appearances here at the API. What are your thoughts on Rory this week?
Yeah, like you said, Rory, the last 5 years here, he's got 4 top 13s. 2nd, 13th, 10th, and the 5th. He did finish 21st last year. But I feel like his game is in a better spot than it was. Last year, we did see him win at Pebble Beach. We saw him get 17th at the Genesis. He has not played in a few weeks, so he is well rested, right? Rory, obviously, he has the potential to win every tournament, right? But can he put it together for all 4 rounds? And there's a lot of water here. There's a lot of hazards here, right? And,
hazards on 13 of the 18 holes.
And last season we saw Rory, hit it into the hazard a ton. So can he avoid those mistakes? Can he not hit it into the water? Can he make some eagles? It just depends on how much chances, Rory McIlroy wants to take. And I guess that just depends on what spot he's in. But I do like Rory to probably come out hot here, play well the first round, then go from here. Usually with Rory, from like the first 9 holes on, how it's going to be, right? So, but he is well rested. He's playing well this season. So, I think Rory does come out and, has a pretty good week. And, him and Scottie are 2 of the, most weathered golfers at this course. So I'd be nice to see them go into a shootout for once. That's what the PGA needs this year. The PGA needs like Rory and Scottie and Xander to get into a shootout, right? Because, we can only have, the Joe Highsmiths, winning. We can't have them winning every event, right? So, a top-ranked golfer has won this tournament pretty much every single season they've had it. So, I saw a stat: the first 5 tournaments of this season have all had a golfer winning it that was 70-1 odds or better.
That's crazy.
So we've had all long shot winners pretty much, except Ludwig. Ludwig at the Genesis was the one exception, but I think it's going to be a fun week. This is always one of those Masters warm-ups, right? Like This is the Players Championship warm-up. So it'll be interesting to see how Ludwig plays this week, coming off of his Genesis victory. Ludwig finished 24th and 25th here in his only 2 appearances here. And you have a lot of guys who have, historically done well here. Keegan Bradley, he's got 3 top 11s the past 4 years. And you've got Matt Fitzpatrick, who is not playing well. Matt Fitzpatrick is probably playing the worst golf of his career. He's got 48th missed cut at the Waste Management, then 49th at the Genesis. Matt missed the cut here last year. But prior to that, the 4 years before that, he got 14th, 9th, 10th, and 9th. So his pedigree at this course is, is very high. And for Matt Fitzpatrick, his game is off track right now. He's playing terribly, right? And this is a course that he knows well, that he's played well at. His track record is spectacular here. If he's going to turn his season around, this is the place to do it, right? Like, you're already getting so many tournaments into the year, right? Like, you can't risk like not getting these FedEx points, stuff like that. So, look for Matt Fitzpatrick to possibly try to turn around his season here. So, lots of guys are trying to turn around their season here. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Wyndham Clark, another guy. He got second place here last year, 73rd at Pebble Beach, 16th at the Waste Management, 31st at the Genesis. Wyndham, we've seen his game trend up a little bit from last year. Last year at times he was terrible. We're seeing him get playing a little better golf than he played last year. So can Wyndham get his season together here? I mean, there's lots of guys like that. Victor Hovland, 36th here last year, but the 2 years before that, 10th and 2nd, right? Victor missed the cut at the Genesis, and he got 22nd at Pebble Beach. So can Victor find his form again, right? With his new swing, can he find his form and, possibly win this event? There's lots of storylines this week, and that's what we're going to get with all the signature events. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Signature events, plenty of storylines, plenty of talking points, plenty of stuff to watch. I know that much. Stage is set. You want to dive into some of these picks?
Yeah, let's dive in. I don't really think we're going to be seeing it. We're not going to be seeing a 70-1 winner this week. If you ask me, all these big names, I think a big name's finally going to come take one down this season.
I'd like to see it happen. I know that much. Give me some excitement for the PGA Tour. It's been dwindling the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it's nice to see like a guy like Joe Highsmith win last week. I mean, when the guy didn't even have, all he had there was his mom cheering for him, right?
Crazy.
And in the final round, I think she told him, like, if you get in the hunt in the final round, my flight's at 3:00, but I'll just skip the flight. I'll miss it and stay and watch you to the finish, because he didn't have a girlfriend there and didn't have just his mom, right? So his mom ended up staying. He ended up winning the tournament pretty easily, right? This is a guy that was 200-1. I saw someone with a ticket. He was 50-1 on Sunday. He was 100-1 before the fourth round started. So pretty crazy. And he played like a veteran there at the end. While guys were choking, like Russell Henley and Daniel Berger, while those guys were choking, this guy was being clutch, only 24 years old, first PGA victory. So I don't think we'll see a winner like that this weekend. I think one of the big guns will get in there and take it down.
I do agree. I'll start this thing off. I've got a top nationality play here. Nick Taylor, top Canadian, plus 360. He's already had a great season so far. He got the win in Hawaii. Fresh off a top 10 at the Genesis. 3 of the 4 other Canadians in this field are coming off miscuts. So, plus 360 feels good for me.
Yeah, I like that. Play. I'm going to take, for top 20, I'm going to take Keegan Bradley, plus 140. Keegan, he's got 34th at the Genesis, 65th at Pebble Beach. Not really playing great this season. But he's got the Ryder Cup this year. Obviously, he's the captain. He got 36th here last year. But the 3 years before that, he got 10th, 11th, and 10th. So this is a course that Keegan plays pretty consistently. And I think Keegan finds his form. I think he finishes in the top 20. So I'm going to take Keegan Bradley plus 140 for a top 20 finish.
Dude, another thing about Keegan Bradley, if it starts to firm up out there after all the rain or whatever, he hits the ball so high that he's going to be in a great spot for this course.
He does, and that's guys who can hit it high here with the soft landing. Those are the guys who are going to do well. So yeah, Keegan, he's just one of those guys that fits that mold.
I like it. I've got Maverick McNeely, top 30, minus 140, little juicy, but he's got 3 top 10 finishes this season already, and he's coming into this tournament, coming into the API off of back-to-back top 10s. So I like Maverick McNeely, top 30, minus 140.
Yeah, and Maverick is, when you look at these odds, especially for a top 30, you got to look, there's only 72 golfers in the field, right? So he essentially just has to beat just over half of those golfers to finish in the top 30. Events like this where you can still bet top 30 when there's a 72-player field, you can really get a lot of value. So Maverick, probably playing the best golf of his career the last two events. I mean, he should have won the Genesis. Ludwig came in and kind of snatched it from him on 18. So Maverick McNeely, his game is definitely in a great spot right now. And he has not played well here historically. But like I said, there's only 72 players in the field this year. He's playing his best golf. So if there's a time for him to finish in the top 30, it's definitely this year. So one player that I do like for a top 10 finish here is I'm going to go with I'm going to roll the dice, take Matt Fitzpatrick plus 400, right? Matt Fitzpatrick, his game has been an ass, really, if we're going to be nice. His game has been total ass to start this year, right? 49th, missed cut, 48th. He missed a cut here last year. But like I said, the 4 years prior, 14th, 9th, 10th, and 9th, right? And, Matt Fitzpatrick's kind of getting into that danger zone, right? Like, he's got to start picking up these FedEx Cup points, right? He's going to start, acquiring points so he can be there in this season-long race, right? Because we're seeing a lot of guys who weren't expected to be in the season-long race, winning tournaments, getting those FedEx points. So it's going to be hard for him to pass those guys. So he's going to start getting his ass into gear and start playing well this season if he wants to, have an extended season. You got the Masters coming up. You got the Players coming up. And, Matt Fitzpatrick needs to start playing well. So I'm going to take him top 10 finish plus 380. So that's Matt Fitzpatrick, top 10 plus 380. And I don't have a ton of faith in that, to be honest. This is kind of one of those spots where I'm telling him, hey, if you want to go have a successful season, this is a spot where you need to play well, right? Like, can he do it? I mean, I'm not really sure. Maybe he's got something bothering him off course, but there's a time where he needs to start playing well. It's definitely here. And it's definitely this course with his past history. So Matt Fitzpatrick, if there's a place for him to get his game together, it's going to be here. And I will take him plus 380 for a top 10 finish. Even though I'm not a big fan of the guy, but there's just a little bit of value on that plus 380 for me.
Well, sometimes you just got to look for it and find it where it comes, because even if guys aren't playing well, sometimes when the FedEx Cup is going, these must-win situations, not really must-win, but must-compete, must-get-point situations, these guys show up. So I like that.
Yeah, they do. And I think, he'll show up this weekend, hopefully. If I had to give a substitute top 10 finish, I'd go with Xander Schauffele plus 140, top 10. Xander's making his season debut here. There was a lot of speculation, will he go to Live? Will he not? We saw him finally win, majors last year, had his best season as a pro last year.
Great.
He's coming out his first event this season. He's got 25th and 39th here his last two tries. But listen, Xander, since winning majors last year, I think he's a whole new man. We've seen his confidence go through the roof. And I like Xander Schauffele plus 140 for a top 10 finish in his season debut. He's very fresh. He's only been playing simulator golf to start this year. But I think Xander gets the job done. I like Xander top 10 finish plus 140. And I'll also be sprinkling a tiny bit on him at probably a half unit on him to win at a plus 2,000, plus 2,200 actually at BetOnline. So I'll be taking Xander to win it plus 2,200 at BetOnline.
Love it. Mr. Schauffele, poised for a good week. I've got one more. Minwoo Lee, rode him last week. Top 30 plus 105 plus money. 3 top 20s in 4 tournaments this season. Tied for 11th last week at the Cognizant after a pretty mediocre first round, shot 71. But I like Minwoo Lee this week. Give it to me.
Yeah, Minwoo Lee, he had a good week, last weekend. I bet on him. I think I faded him on Friday in a matchup, a 3-ball, and he destroyed me. And then I bet on him on Saturday in a matchup, and he lost. So I could not get on the right side of Minwoo Lee last week. But yeah, he's been having it, he's been getting his season, going. So can he keep going here, with this field? And it's going to be, like I said, it's a loaded field, right? and it's going to be an interesting week. So I'm definitely looking forward to the tournament this week.
For sure, dude. I mean, there's nothing better than waking up early on a Thursday, Friday, signature event, teeing off. Hard to beat. Hard to beat.
And I think Scottie gets it done this week, but obviously, I'm not going to give out the dead nuts favorite to win it. But I think Scottie finally breaks through this week and gets his first victory of the season.
I think he does too. And if you're looking for that, make sure you shop around. Of course, DraftKings at 300, BetOnline plus 350. So shop around, get you a good number on Scottie.
Or wait, if you want to bet Scottie, I always say wait till the event starts. Try to pick him up 6-1, something like that. You can usually get a good number on him live, or just as good or better than you can pre-tournament. So if you're going to bet Scottie to win it, just wait until the tournament begins.
There you go. All right, that's the API. You got anything else?
Just looking forward to it. Looking forward to a big weekend. Then looking forward to the Players Championship. It's going to be a fun one. These next two tournaments are kind of like majors, so
yep.
I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait.
It's finally the best time of the golf season, dude. We're building up to the Masters, so it's going to be a fun one for sure.
It will be for sure.
All right, I appreciate everybody listening. The Beat the Bookie Show. We'll be back here next Wednesday breaking down next week's tournament. So appreciate everybody and have a great Thursday or Wednesday, whatever the day is.